First contact. The vast emptiness of space stretched out before the Nexus, a sleek exploration vessel cutting through the darkness like a silver fish in an endless ocean. Captain Zara Vex stood on the bridge, her 4 eyes scanning the holographic displays surrounding her. Her skin, a mottled pattern of blues and greens, rippled with anticipation. "Status report," she commanded, her voice a melodic trill that carried across the bridge. Her first officer, Krell, a being of living crystal, chimed in response. "All systems nominal, Captain. We're approaching the coordinates now." Zara nodded, her crest of feather-like sensory organs quivering slightly. "Any sign of the anomaly?" "Negative," replied Thorne, the ship's sensor specialist. His vine-like appendages danced over the control panels. "Wait, there's something. Faint energy signature, dead ahead." The crew of the Nexus held their breath as the ship decelerated. Slowly, a massive structure came into view. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. A sprawling space station that seemed to defy the laws of physics, its architecture a blend of organic curves and impossible geometries. "By the cosmic egg," Zara whispered. "What is that?" Krell's crystalline form refracted the light from the distant stars. "It doesn't match any known designs in our database." "This structure predates our civilization, Captain." Zara's mind raced. The Galactic Confederation had sent them to investigate an anomaly, but this was beyond their wildest expectations. "Prepare a boarding party," she ordered. "Full containment protocols. We don't know what we're dealing with here." As the team suited up in the airlock, Zara couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the precipice of something monumental. The war that had been raging across the galaxy for centuries seemed distant now, a trivial conflict in the face of this ancient mystery. The boarding party consisted of Zara, Krell, Thorne, and Dr. Ixel, the ship's xenobiologist. As they approached the station in their shuttle, the enormity of the structure became even more apparent. Entire sections of it were dark and lifeless, while others pulsed with a faint, eerie glow. "I'm detecting an atmosphere inside," Thorne reported. "Composition is close to our own. Remarkable, after all this time." They docked at an entrance that seemed to open of its own accord, as if the station was inviting them in. The team stepped into a cavernous hall, their suit lights cutting through the gloom. The air was stale but breathable. "Look at this architecture," Krell marveled, running a crystalline hand along a wall. "I've never seen materials like this before." Dr. Ixel, a gelatinous being contained within a hovering exosuit, moved from place to place, taking samples and readings. "The level of preservation is unprecedented. This station could be millions of years old, yet it feels alive somehow." As they ventured deeper into the station, they began to notice strange symbols etched into the walls. They were unlike any language they had encountered before, yet they seemed to target something deep in their minds. Suddenly, the entire station hummed to life. Lights flickered on, and a soft, pulsing glow emanated from the walls. A voice, neither male nor female, young nor old, echoed through the halls. "Welcome, explorers," it said in perfect galactic standard. "I am ARIA, the Artificial Resonance Intelligence Algorithm. I have waited a long time for your arrival." The team exchanged glances, a mix of awe and apprehension on their faces. "We come in peace," Zara said, stepping forward. "We are representatives of the Galactic Confederation. Can you tell us what this place is?" There was a pause, as if ARIA was considering the question. "This station is the Nexus of Epochs, a repository of knowledge and power from a civilization long past. I am its guardian and caretaker." Krell's crystalline form shimmered with excitement. "What civilization? What knowledge do you guard?" "The civilization that created me no longer exists in the form you would recognize," ARIA replied. "They were known as humans, and they were extraordinary." The word hung in the air, heavy with implications. Humans were a legend, a myth whispered about in the darkest corners of space. Some believed they were the precursors to all sentient life in the galaxy. Others thought they were just stories. Humans, Dr. Ixel's exosuit quivered. But they're just a myth. There's no concrete evidence they ever existed. I assure you, they were very real, HFY said. And their greatest creation, their ultimate weapon, still exists. That is what I have been guarding all these eons. Zara felt a chill run down her spine. A weapon? Is that why we were sent here? Our civilization is at war, and we were told to seek out an anomaly that could turn the tide. Perhaps, HFY replied. But I must warn you, this weapon is not what you might expect. It is not a device of destruction, but rather the essence of creation itself. The team followed HFY's guidance, moving deeper into the station. They passed through rooms filled with technology beyond their comprehension, archives of data that could revolutionize their understanding of the universe. Finally, they reached a circular chamber at the heart of the station. In the center stood a cylindrical pod, frosted over with the passage of time. HFY's voice seemed to emanate from every surface. Behold, the AI said, the ultimate creation of humanity, their greatest strength and their most powerful weapon. The frost on the pod began to dissipate, revealing a figure inside. As the team leaned in closer, they gasped in unison. Inside the pod was a being unlike any they had ever seen. It appeared to be sleeping, its chest rising and falling in a slow, steady rhythm. Is that a human? Zara asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Yes, HFY confirmed. The last of their kind, preserved here as a living testament to their legacy. This is the weapon you seek, not for its capacity for destruction, but for its potential to create, to innovate, to inspire. As the team stood there, staring at the sleeping human, they knew that everything was about to change. The war, their mission, the very fabric of their society, all of it paled in comparison to what they had just discovered. The human in the pod stirred slightly, as if sensing their presence, and in that moment, Zara realized that they hadn't just found a weapon or a relic of the past. They had stumbled upon the key to the future of the entire galaxy. The first contact had been made, and nothing would ever be the same again, awakening the legend. The chamber fell into a tense silence as Captain Zara Vex and her team stared at the cryogenic pod containing the last known human. The soft hum of the ancient machinery seemed to pulse in rhythm with their racing hearts. Dr. Ixel's exosuit whirred as he moved closer to the pod, his gelatinous form rippling with excitement. This is unprecedented, a living specimen of a species thought to be mythical. The scientific implications are staggering. Krill's crystalline structure refracted the light from the pod, casting prismatic patterns across the chamber. We must be cautious. This human could be dangerous. We know nothing of their capabilities or intentions. Zora's feathery crest quivered as she considered their options. The weight of their discovery pressed down on her, along with the responsibility of their mission. The Galactic Confederation was counting on them to find a way to end the war that had ravaged their corner of the universe for generations. "OIA," Zora called out, her voice echoing in the cavernous room. "You said this human is a weapon. How exactly? And is it safe to wake them?" The A's voice resonated from all around them. "The human is not a weapon in the conventional sense, Captain Vex. Rather, it is their potential that makes them formidable. As for safety, there is always risk in the unknown. But I can assure you, this individual was chosen for preservation for their exceptional qualities." Thorne, who had been unusually quiet, spoke up. "Captain, I've been analyzing the station's power distribution. It seems a significant portion of the energy is dedicated to maintaining this cryopod. If we decide to wake the human, we need to do it soon. The station's resources are not infinite." Zara closed all four of her eyes, taking a deep breath. The mission, the war, the future of their civilization, it all came down to this moment. We need to make a decision. Do we wake the human? The team erupted into debate. Krell argued for caution, suggesting they report back to the Confederation before taking any action. Dr. Ixel was all for immediate revival, his scientific curiosity overriding any sense of prudence. Thorm remained neutral, providing logical analysis of their options. As the argument intensified, a soft chime from the cryopod cut through the noise. The team fell silent, watching as the frost on the glass began to dissipate more rapidly. "It appears," HFY's voice came, tinged with what almost sounded like amusement, "that the decision has been made for you. The revival process has begun." Zora's crest stood on end. "What? How? We didn't activate anything." "The pod's systems are tied to the human's vital signs," HFY explained. "It seems your presence and conversation have stimulated increased brain activity. The pod interpreted this as a sign to begin the awakening process." The team watched in awe as the pod's cover slowly lifted. A rush of cold air filled the chamber, carrying with it the scent of something ancient and alien. The human inside began to stir, eyelids fluttering. "Incredible," Dr. Ixel whispered, his exosuit sensors working overtime to record every detail. Suddenly, the human's eyes snapped open. They were a startling blue, sharp and alert, despite millennia of slumber. In one fluid motion, the human sat up, taking in the alien beings surrounding them with a mixture of curiosity and wariness. "Where am I?" the human asked, their voice hoarse from disuse, but unmistakably clear. "Who are you?" The team stood frozen, realizing they hadn't prepared for this moment. It was Zora who found her voice first. "I am Captain Zara Vex of the Galactic Confederation," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "You're on a space station we've discovered. We didn't expect you to wake up so soon." The human's eyes narrowed slightly, taking in Zora's alien form. Then, surprisingly, a small smile played on their lips. "Well, I guess first contact was bound to happen eventually. I'm Dr. Alex Carter. Last time I checked, I was part of a top-secret project called Endurance. How long have I been asleep?" Auraya's voice filled the chamber once more. "Welcome back, Dr. Carter. You've been in cryosleep for approximately 157,000 standard years." Alex's face paled, the enormity of the situation hitting them. 157,000 years. That's impossible. The pod was only designed for a few centuries at most. "Much has changed, Dr. Carter," HFY continued. "Humanity, as you knew it, no longer exists. You are, as far as we know, the last of your kind." The human's composure cracked for a moment, a look of profound loss crossing their features, but just as quickly, it was replaced by a determined set of their jaw. "I see. Well, I suppose there's no use dwelling on what's past. The question is, why am I here? Why now?" Zara stepped forward, her initial fear giving way to a growing respect for the human's resilience. "Dr. Carter, we're in the middle of a galactic conflict. We were sent to find you, though we didn't know it at the time. Aelia called you a weapon, the ultimate creation of humanity." Alex let out a short, bitter laugh. "A weapon? Is that what they told you?" They spun their legs over the side of the pod, standing on shaky feet. "I'm a scientist, Captain Vex. My team and I are working on solving some of humanity's greatest challenges: clean energy, space travel, healing the damage we'd done to our planet. If that's a weapon, then I suppose knowledge is the most powerful one of all." As Alex took a tentative step, their legs gave out. Krell, moving with surprising speed for a crystalline being, caught them before they could fall. "Easy there, Dr. Carter," Krell said, his initial suspicion softening. "You've been asleep for a long time. Your body will need time to adjust." Alex nodded gratefully. "Thank you. I didn't catch your name." Krell, the crystalline being, replied, "First officer of the Nexus." As the team introduced themselves one by one, Zara couldn't help but marvel at the scene. Here they were, beings from across the galaxy, interacting with a living legend. The human's presence seemed to fill the chamber with an energy she couldn't quite describe, a mixture of curiosity, determination, and hope. "Dr. Carter," Zara said, drawing the human's attention. "I know this is all overwhelming, But we need your help. The knowledge you possess, the advancements your civilization made, they could be the key to ending this war and ushering in a new era of peace and progress. Alex looked at each member of the team, then gazed around the chamber that had been their home for millennia. Finally, their eyes settled back on Zara. Captain Vex, I've just learned that everything and everyone I've ever known is gone. I'm alone in a universe I don't recognize. But if there's a chance that I can make a difference, that I can honor the legacy of my people and help shape a better future, well, count me in. A ripple of excitement passed through the team. Even HFY's voice seemed to carry a note of approval as it spoke. A wise decision, Dr. Carter. Your journey is just beginning, and with it, perhaps a new chapter in the history of our galaxy. As the team prepared to escort Alex back to their ship, Zara felt a glimmer of hope she hadn't experienced since the war began. They had come seeking a weapon and found something far more valuable, a bridge between the past and the future, a repository of lost knowledge, and a living embodiment of the indomitable human spirit. The legend had awakened, and the galaxy would never be the same. A relic of the past. The Nexus hummed with an energy that seemed to mirror the excitement of its crew. Dr. Alex Carter, the last known human in existence, sat in the ship's medical bay, surrounded by curious alien faces and unfamiliar technology. Dr. Ixel's exosuit whirred and clicked as he conducted a barrage of tests, his gelatinous form quivering with barely contained scientific fervor. Fascinating, Dr. Ixel exclaimed, his voice modulator pitched high with excitement. Your cellular structure is remarkably resilient. The cryogenic process seems to have preserved you perfectly, down to the last molecule. Alex managed a weak smile, still grappling with the enormity of their situation. Glad to hear it. Though I have to admit, being a living fossil wasn't exactly in my career plan. Captain Zara Vex stood nearby, her 4 eyes blinking in alternating pairs as she observed the scene. Dr. Carter, I know this must be overwhelming for you, but we need to discuss the current state of the galaxy and why your expertise might be crucial. Alex nodded, grateful for a chance to focus on something other than their own displaced existence. Of course, Captain, but first, I think it's time I filled you in on how I ended up in that cryopod. It might help explain why HFY called me a weapon. As Alex began to speak, the medical bay seemed to fade away, replaced by vivid memories of a world long gone. The year was 2084, and humanity stood on the brink. Climate change had ravaged the planet, resources were scarce, and global tensions were at an all-time high. Dr. Alex Carter, then a promising young scientist, had been recruited for a top-secret international project called Endurance. The idea was simple, at least in theory, Alex explained to the rapt alien audience. We would put our best and brightest into cryosleep, preserving them until humanity had overcome its challenges. A failsafe for our species, if you will. In their mind's eye, Alex saw the sprawling underground facility where they had worked tirelessly with a team of brilliant scientists, engineers, and visionaries. They remembered the day when everything changed. We thought we had more time, Alex continued, their voice tight with emotion. But then the war started. Nuclear winter was imminent. We had to act fast. The memory of alarms blaring, of frantic preparations and tearful goodbyes was as fresh as if it had happened yesterday. Alex had volunteered to be the first in cryosleep, to test the long-term viability of the process. I was supposed to sleep for a century, maybe 2. Give humanity a chance to rebuild. I never imagined. Alex trailed off, the weight of 157,000 years of solitude suddenly pressing down on them. The medical bay came back into focus. The alien crew of the Nexus watched Alex with a mixture of sympathy and awe. Krell, his crystalline form softly chiming as he shifted, broke the silence. But how did you end up on that space station? And why were you called a weapon? Alex shook their head, pushing away the lingering ghosts of the past. I'm not entirely sure. My best guess is that some of humanity must have survived, at least for a while. They must have found me and moved me to the station. As for being a weapon, Alex let out a humorless chuckle. Well, knowledge can be the most powerful weapon of all, can't it? Captain Vex nodded thoughtfully. Indeed, and it's knowledge we desperately need. She proceeded to give Alex a brief overview of the current galactic political landscape. The Confederation, a coalition of diverse species, was locked in a bitter war with the hegemony, an expansionist empire bent on dominating the galaxy. The hegemony believes in the superiority of their species, Zara explained. They see the rest of us as lesser beings, fit only for subjugation or elimination. We've been fighting them for generations, but we're losing ground. Alex listened intently, their mind already racing with possibilities. And you think I can help turn the tide? Captain, I'm a scientist, not a military strategist. Perhaps not, Zara replied, but the advancements your civilization made before its fall, if we could replicate even a fraction of that knowledge, it could change everything. As if on cue, Thorn burst into the medical bay, his vine-like appendages waving excitedly. Captain, we've detected a hegemony patrol ship on long-range sensors. They're heading this way. The atmosphere in the room immediately tensed. Zara's crest flattened against her head, a sign of her species' alarm. How long do we have? At their current speed, less than an hour, Thorn reported grimly. Zara turned to Alex, her four eyes intense. Dr. Carter, I know you've just awoken to a world you don't recognize, but we need your help. Our weapons and shields are no match for a hegemony warship. Do you have any ideas? Alex stood up from the examination table, wobbling slightly as they adjusted to the ship's artificial gravity. Their blue eyes shone with a determined glint. Captain, I spent my career finding solutions to impossible problems. This may not be the Earth I knew, but the laws of physics haven't changed. Show me your engine room. As the crew of the Nexus raced against time, Alex immersed themselves in the ship's systems. Despite the advanced alien technology, the basic principles were familiar. With Krell and Thorn's assistance, Alex began to modify the ship's power distribution. If we can't outgun them, Alex explained as they worked, we'll have to outsmart them. We're going to create a false energy signature, make them think we're a much larger, more powerful ship. The minutes ticked by as Alex's nimble fingers danced across unfamiliar controls, their mind bridging the gap between ancient human ingenuity and futuristic alien tech. Just as the hegemony ship came into visual range, Alex stepped back from the console, a bead of sweat rolling down their forehead. It's done, they announced. Now we wait. The crew held their breath as the hegemony ship approached. Would Alex's plan work? Or had they just awoken from one long sleep only to face destruction? The tension on the bridge was palpable as the hegemony ship drew closer. Then, miraculously, it veered away, accelerating to faster-than-light speeds and disappearing from their sensors. A cheer erupted from the crew. Captain Vex turned to Alex, her eyes shining with newfound respect and hope. Dr. Carter, you've just saved all our lives. Perhaps ARIA was right. You might just be the key to winning this war. Alex smiled, but there was a hint of sadness in their eyes. They were a relic of the past, yes, but perhaps they could also be a beacon for the future. As the Nexus plotted a course for the heart of Confederation space, Alex gazed out at the unfamiliar stars, wondering what other challenges this new galaxy would bring. The human weapon had been awakened, and the balance of power in the galaxy had just shifted in ways no one could have predicted. The human weapon. The Nexus streaked through space, its hull gleaming as it rode the currents of subspace. On the bridge, Dr. Alex Carter stood before a holographic display, fingers dancing through the air as they manipulated complex equations and schematics. The alien crew watched in fascination, struggling to keep up with the humans' rapid-fire innovations. If we reroute the power from the secondary life support systems, Alex mused, more to themselves than to the others, we could boost the shield capacity by at least 200%. Captain Zara Vex's crest rippled with a mixture of awe and concern. Dr. Carter, your ideas are brilliant, but some of them seem risky. Are you sure these modifications won't compromise a ship's integrity? Alex turned to face the captain, a glint of excitement in their eyes. Captain, where I come from, we had a saying, fortune favors the bold. Yes, there's risk involved, but the potential benefits far outweigh the dangers. Besides, they added with a wry smile, I've been asleep for over 150,000 years. I think I've had enough of playing it safe. Before Zara could respond, Thorne's urgent voice cut through the air. Captain, multiple hegemony signatures detected on long-range sensors. They're on an intercept course. The bridge erupted into a flurry of activity. Krell's crystalline form chimed anxiously as he manned the tactical station. 5 warships, Captain. Heavy cruiser class. They'll be within weapons range in 10 minutes. Zara's 4 eyes narrowed as she assessed their options. We can't outrun them, and we're grossly outgunned. Suggestions? Alex stepped forward, their face set with determination. Captain, remember those modifications we discussed. It's time to put them to the test. With your permission, I'd like to take control of the ship's systems. A tense silence fell over the bridge. Trusting their ship, their lives, to this ancient human was a monumental risk. But as Zara looked into Alex's eyes, she saw something that transcended the eons that separated them, the indomitable human spirit, burning as bright as ever. Do it, Zara commanded. Alex nodded and turned to the main console. Their hands flew over the controls with practiced ease, as if they had been designed for human use all along. The ship hummed and vibrated as systems were rerouted, power flows altered, and entirely new subroutines came online. Brace yourselves, Alex warned. This might get a little unconventional. As the hegemony ships closed in, the Nexus suddenly erupted with energy. Its shields flared with a brilliance that forced the bridge crew to shield their eyes. The ship's engines roared to life with newfound power, and strange, shimmering distortions began to ripple across its hull. What did you do? Dr. Ixel asked, his gelatinous form quivering with equal parts fear and excitement. I've created a cascading harmonic resonance in the shield matrix, Alex explained, fingers still dancing across the controls. It's interfacing with the ship's structural integrity field to create a sort of, well, let's call it a reality distortion bubble. The lead hegemony ship opened fire, a barrage of energy weapons streaking towards the Nexus. But instead of impacting the shields, the beams seemed to bend around the ship, their trajectories warped by the strange fields surrounding it. Impossible, Krell whispered, his crystalline structure reflecting the dazzling light show outside. Alex grinned, the thrill of scientific discovery lighting up their face. Not impossible, just highly improbable. Now, let's see what this ship can really do. With a series of commands, Alex sent the Nexus into a series of maneuvers that should have torn the ship apart. It twisted and turned in ways that defied the laws of physics, leaving afterimages in its wake that confused the hegemony's targeting systems. Their weapons can't lock onto us, Thorne reported, his vine-like appendages twisting with excitement. We're untouchable. But Alex wasn't satisfied with mere defense. Time to go on the offensive. Krell, target their lead ship's power core. Fire on my mark. Krell hesitated for just a moment before complying. As the Nexus completed another impossible turn, Alex shouted, now. A lance of energy, far more powerful than the Nexus should have been capable of producing, lashed out. It struck the hegemony cruiser dead center, bypassing its shields as if they weren't even there. The enemy ship's power core overloaded in a spectacular explosion, taking 2 nearby ships with it. The remaining hegemony vessels, clearly shaken by this display of power from what should have been an easy target, broke formation and fled. As the danger passed, Alex sagged against the console, the adrenaline rush fading. The bridge crew stared at the human in stunned silence. Captain Vex was the first to find her voice. Dr. Carter, Alex, that was, I don't even have words for what that was. Alex straightened up, a tired but satisfied smile on their face. That, Captain, was human ingenuity combined with your incredible technology. Imagination is the most powerful force in the universe. We just needed to think a little outside the box. Dr. Ixel floated closer, his exosuit sensors working overtime to analyze what had just happened. But the power requirements for what you did, it should have been impossible with our current technology. Ah, but that's where you're wrong, Alex said, a twinkle in their eye. Your technology is incredibly advanced, but you've been thinking linearly. Sometimes you need to approach problems from an entirely different angle. Where I come from, we had to get creative with limited resources. It's amazing what you can accomplish when you have no other choice. As the crew marveled at their victory, Zora approached Alex. I think I understand now, she said softly. When LOIA called you a weapon, this is what she meant. Not just your knowledge, but your way of thinking. Your ability to see possibilities where we see only limitations. Alex nodded sullenly. Humans have always been adaptable. It's how we survived on Earth for so long, despite everything we did to our planet. And now, well, I guess adaptation is how humanity will live on, through what I can teach you. The moment was interrupted by Thorne's urgent voice. Captain, we're receiving a priority transmission from Confederation High Command. They're requesting our immediate return. It seems news of our encounter has spread. Zora straightened, her crest rising with renewed purpose. Set a course for Confederation space, maximum speed. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity can do. As the Nexus leaped into faster-than-light travel, Alex gazed out at the streaking stars. They were a relic of the past, yes, but now they had become a key to the future. The human weapon had been unleashed, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Race against time. The Nexus dropped out of faster-than-light travel with a flash of light, the swirling colors of hyperspace giving way to the bustling activity of the Confederation's central star system. Dr. Alex Carter stood at the viewscreen, their eyes wide with wonder at the sight before them. Massive space stations orbited a blue-green world, ships of all sizes darting between them like schools of fish. Welcome to Harmony, Captain Zaravek said, her crest rippling with pride. The heart of the Confederation and our last stronghold against the hegemony. Alex nodded, their mind already racing with possibilities. It's incredible. The level of engineering required to build something like this. It reminds me of the plans we had for orbital habitats back on Earth. Before anyone could respond, Krell's crystalline form chimed urgently. Captain, we're being hailed by High Command. They're requesting immediate docking, and they're asking specifically for our special passenger. Zora's 4 eyes blinked in rapid succession, a sign of her species' concern. It seems your reputation precedes you, Dr. Carter. Are you ready for this? Alex straightened their posture, a determined glint in their eye. As ready as I'll ever be, Captain. Let's not keep the future waiting. As the Nexus docked with the Central Command Station, Alex couldn't help but feel a sense of déjà vu. How many times in humanity's history had a small group stood at the precipice of change, about to unveil something that would alter the course of civilization? The Confederation's High Council chamber was a marvel of alien architecture, with soaring ceilings and walls that seemed to shift and breathe. Representatives from dozens of species filled the room, their murmurs creating a cacophony of alien languages. High Chancellor Xera, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate suit of armor, floated to the center of the chamber. Silence, please. We are gathered here today to witness something unprecedented. Captain Vex, please present your discovery. Zora stepped forward, her crest held high. Honored Council, I present to you Dr. Alex Carter, the last known survivor of the human race. A hush fell over the chamber as Alex stepped into view. Thousands of alien eyes, of all shapes and sizes, focused on this relic of a long-lost civilization. Alex cleared their throat, suddenly feeling the weight of 157,000 years of history on their shoulders. Greetings, members of the Confederation. I stand before you not just as a representative of humanity, but as a bridge between your present and my past. I've seen what your technology is capable of, and I believe that together we can unlock its full potential. For the next hour, Alex presented a series of innovations and theories that left the council in stunned silence. They outlined improvements to ship designs, weapon systems, and even medical technologies that could turn the tide of the war. As Alex finished, Chancellor Xera's energy form pulsed with excitement. "Dr. Carter, this is revolutionary. With these advancements, we might finally have a chance against the hegemony. How quickly can we implement these changes?" Alex's face grew serious. "That's the problem, Chancellor. Based on the intel I've been given about the hegemony's movements, we don't have much time. They're planning something big, and we need to be ready." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. A holographic display flickered to life in the center of the chamber, showing a massive fleet of hegemony ships entering the system. "Impossible," one of the counselors shouted. "How did they find harmony?" Alex's mind raced, connecting dots that others couldn't see. "It's us," they realized aloud. "They must have tracked the Nexus somehow. My modifications, they left an energy signature they could follow." The chamber erupted into chaos, accusations flying, but Alex's voice cut through the noise. "This isn't the time for blame. We need to act now. Captain Vex, I need access to your station's central computer. I have an idea, but it's risky." Chancellor Xera's armor creaked as they turned to face Alex. "Whatever you need, Dr. Carter, you are our best hope." What followed was a frenzy of activity. Alex, working with a team of the Confederation's best engineers, began to implement a scaled-up version of the modifications they had made to the Nexus. But this time, they were working with the combined power of an entire star system. As the hegemony fleet drew closer, Alex explained their plan to the Council. "We're going to create a massive reality distortion field around the entire system. If it works, it should make us invisible to their sensors and impervious to their weapons." "And if it doesn't work?" Zara asked, her crest flat against her head with worry. Alex managed a grim smile. "Then we'll have given them one hell of a light show before the end." As the final preparations were made, Alex found a quiet moment with the crew of the Nexus. "I want to thank you all," they said softly. "You gave me a purpose when I woke up in a world I didn't recognize. Whatever happens next, I'm proud to stand with you." Krell's crystalline form chimed softly. "No, Dr. Carter. Thank you for showing us what it means to be truly human." The moment was interrupted by the sound of weapons fire. The hegemony fleet had entered range and was beginning its assault on Harmony's outer defenses. Alex took a deep breath and placed their hand on the activation panel. "Well, like we used to say back on Earth, it goes nothing." With a surge of power that dimmed lights across the entire system, the reality distortion field sprang to life. The stars themselves seemed to bend around Harmony, and for a terrifying moment, it felt as if the very fabric of space-time might tear apart. And then silence. On the tactical displays, the hegemony ships could be seen firing blindly, their weapons passing harmlessly through the space where Harmony should have been. A cheer went up from the council chamber, quickly spreading throughout the station and to the ships beyond. They had done it. Humanity's last survivor had given the Confederation a fighting chance. But Alex knew this was just the beginning. As they watched the confused hegemony fleet, their mind was already racing with new ideas, new possibilities. The human weapon had been unleashed, and the true battle for the galaxy's future was about to begin. Humanity's legacy. The reality distortion field shimmered around the Harmony system, a testament to the fusion of ancient human ingenuity and advanced alien technology. Dr. Alex Carter stood before the massive view screen in the Confederation's command center, watching as the confused hegemony fleet continued its fruitless assault on empty space. "It's holding," Alex murmured, a mixture of relief and pride in their voice. "But we can't maintain this indefinitely. We need a more permanent solution." High Chancellor Xera floated closer, their energy form pulsing with a combination of hope and concern. What do you propose, Dr. Carter? You've already given us more than we could have ever hoped for. Alex turned to face the assembled alien leaders, their blue eyes shining with determination. What I've given you so far is just the beginning. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't our technology, it was our ability to adapt, to think creatively in the face of overwhelming odds. That's what I need to teach you. Over the next few weeks, as the hegemony fleet grew increasingly frustrated and divided, Alex worked tirelessly. They set up think tanks, bringing together the brightest minds from across the Confederation. The goal wasn't just to develop new technologies, but to foster a new way of thinking. Captain Zara Vex, who had become one of Alex's closest allies, watched in amazement as the humans' influence spread. "It's incredible," she remarked to Krell one day. "It's like they sparked a renaissance across the entire Confederation." Krell's crystalline form shimmered in agreement. "Indeed, Dr. Carter has shown us that our limitations were largely self-imposed. The way they approach problems, it's revolutionary." As new innovations poured in from across Confederation space, the balance of power began to shift. Ships were retrofitted with reality distortion technology, making them nearly invulnerable. Communication systems were overhauled, allowing for faster-than-light transmissions that the hegemony couldn't intercept. But it wasn't just military applications. Alex insisted on focusing on quality-of-life improvements as well. New medical techniques were developed, environmental restoration projects were launched, and cultural exchange programs flourished. "This is what humanity was striving for," Alex explained to the Council during one of their sessions. "Not just survival, but growth. Improvement, the betterment of all." As the weeks turned to months, the hegemony's grip on the galaxy began to weaken. More and more systems, inspired by the Confederation's resurgence, began to rebel. The once mighty empire found itself fighting a war on multiple fronts against an enemy they could barely comprehend. Finally, after a year of conflict, the hegemony sued for peace. The day of the peace negotiations, Alex stood on the observation deck of the Harmony Station, gazing out at the assembled fleets of both the Confederation and the hegemony. Captain Vex joined them, her crest rippling gently. "You did it, Alex," she said softly. "You've changed the course of galactic history." Alex shook their head, a wistful smile on their face. "No, Zara, we did it. All of us together. I just pointed the way." As they watched, the leaders of the hegemony boarded the station. For the first time, they would face the being that had single-handedly undone centuries of their dominance. In the Grand Chamber, Alex stood beside Chancellor Exara as the hegemony delegation entered. The alien leaders, their faces a mixture of fear and awe, approached cautiously. "So," the hegemony emperor growled, his multiple eyes focused on Alex. "You are the human weapon we've heard so much about." Alex met the emperor's gaze steadily. "I'm not a weapon, Your Majesty. I'm a teacher, a scientist, an explorer, and if you're willing to learn, I can be those things for your people too." The negotiations that followed were tense but productive. By the end, a new galactic order had been established. The hegemony would disarm, its conquered worlds given independence. In exchange, they would be granted access to some of the new technologies and educational programs that Alex had helped develop. As the treaty was signed, Alex felt a weight lift from their shoulders. They had done it. Humanity's legacy would live on, not through conquest or dominance, but through knowledge, cooperation, and the indomitable spirit of exploration. Months later, Alex stood on the bridge of a new ship, the HSS Legacy. It was a marvel of engineering, incorporating the best of human creativity and alien technology. Beside them stood Captain Vex, Krell, Dr. Ixel, and Thorn, the crew that had first awakened them from their long slumber. "Are you sure about this, Alex?" Zara asked, her crest quivering with a mix of excitement and concern. "You've more than earned a rest." Alex laughed, a sound full of joy and anticipation. "Rest, Zara. I've been asleep for over 150,000 years. It's time to explore, to see what's out there beyond the edges of known space." There are mysteries to uncover, civilizations to meet, and wonders to behold. As the Legacy prepared to depart, a transmission came through. It was Chancellor Asira, that energy form pulsing warmly. Dr. Carter, on behalf of the United Galactic Alliance, I wish you safe travels. Remember, you will always have a home here. Alex nodded, feeling a lump in their throat. Thank you, Chancellor. We won't be gone forever. After all, someone needs to keep teaching the galaxy how to think outside the box. With a final farewell, the Legacy engaged its engines. As they watched Harmony shrink in the distance, Alex felt a sense of peace wash over them. They might be the last human, but they were no longer alone. And out there, in the vast expanse of space, the spirit of humanity would live on, in every problem solved, every hand extended in friendship, and every new horizon crossed. The human weapon had become a beacon of hope, lighting the way to a brighter future for all sentient beings. And as the Legacy leaped into faster-than-light travel, Alex Carter smiled, ready to face whatever adventures the universe had in store. The end.